that he might possess that can okay, now we up on YouTube now. We live on YouTube. So anybody out there, we live on YouTube and Facebook. So we up and going. So now, like I say, give me an example of what you probably would think that's realistic, or what would be a fairy tale.
Realistically, you actually wouldn't know who would be a good fit for you until you meet them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can have a whole list.
Mm-hmm.
Tall, 6'1" and over, dark skin,
Mm-hmm.
beard,
Okay.
build,
Mm-hmm.
muscular build.
Okay.
But I may meet someone who's 5'7", beard, stable. He may be a better fit than what I had made up in my head.
Okay. So now, one of your, I'm gonna use this word, requirements. Would it be a beard? He has to be bearded?
No.
No? Okay. But that's a plus.
That's something that a lot of women are attracted to.
Okay, gotcha.
No, he does not have to have a beard. No.
Okay. So now let me say this. And of course, family, like I say, if you want to chime into the show, the number is 870-397-1219. That's 870-397-1219. Want to call in, give your opinion on it, or what you think about it, please do. So now let me ask you, Nicole. Now you got a lot of women out there. They got this, I'm going to call it a fairy tale, like we say, this is the name of the show. That this guy, he has to be six-figure. Of course, single. And have kids, that's a toss-up. So now, when a woman is thinking like that, is that realistic, or is that a fairy tale, in your opinion?
You can realistically find that. But my thing is, this guy's making six figures. If he has kids, are they grown at the house, or does he have small kids? So if most people our age probably want them to have grown kids, not in the house or whatever. But say that you do meet this type of guy. This is what you want on your list. You got it on your list.
Okay.
But he's so busy making his six figures, he's not going to have time to spend with you. Or he may have grown kids causing problems in your relationship or whatever that kind of draw you away. So yes, you got everything checked off on your list, but are you happy?
Okay. So now you got this guy. You got in your mind that you want somebody, this six-figure dude. So now let's look at it like this. This woman that has this in her mind, she want this six-figure guy. But now she has, let's say, 3 kids. But her mind is set on this guy. What do you think her chances are, percentage-wise, you just give me a number, of landing someone like that?
I'm not sure. Maybe it depends on the guy.
It depends on the guy. So now, if you got a guy that's making that type of money, he's in a 6-figure bracket, making that type of money, single, he don't have any kids. I forgot to add that. He don't have any kids. Now, this woman got 3 kids. And like I say, now, what do you think the chances on her landing a guy like
that? Probably not that good, because it depends on what he wanted a woman as well.
Well, I mean, would you think that a guy like that that's making, pretty good money like that, he can go and get a woman that doesn't have kids. He don't have to
He
deal
probably
with that.
he definitely could, but this woman that have kids, she could be a good fit than a
Probably
woman that
could.
don't have kids.
Probably could. But that's why I say, what do you think the chances are? That's why I say, give me a percentage. You think it's 50% chance she can get him? You think it's 60%, 70%? In my opinion, I would say it's about a 10% chance.
Okay, why is it a 10% chance?
Because, like I said, uh, a man that's in that type of income bracket, he's not going to settle for that when he can go and have his own family instead of having to deal with another man's children.
Is it really settling? And
It would be, because if he's making that type of income, it would be, because his chances of going and get a woman with no kids when he can start his own is higher than to have to deal with somebody else's when he don't have to.
okay, well
Does that make sense?
that may be true, but it
Okay.
also depends on the age range as well. If this is an older guy,
Yeah.
he want to start having kids at his age. He may don't mind taking care of her kids and
Yeah.
helping her raise her kids.
Yeah.
He
But
may take them in.
yeah, but that's why I say, what do you think the chances are? You see,
Yeah.
I would say more time than not, he would rather just start his own family that he can take care of. He's financially able to take care of, even though he's probably financially able to take care of somebody else's, but he would probably want his own than to have to deal with somebody else's. Because see, something comes with that when you have to deal with another man's children. A lot comes with that.
Okay, a lot like what?
Well, you have to deal with the father. You have to deal with, the children looking at you that you're not my daddy. You can't tell me this, that. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with the mother. Probably don't want you to discipline a child or anything. You have to deal with those things.
Okay, so those are all negative
Well,
aspects.
those are things that comes with it. It might be
It
negative, but it's there.
it may not come with every
I'm
woman
not saying
with
that. It's a possibility though.
that's the
That
negative side.
possibility is there. Rather than having his own, it's not there. More, more times than not than having to deal with children that's not biologically his.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
So I I would say a 30% chance.
You said 30%. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I
That's less
you
that's
don't know
less
who
than
you may
50.
fall for.
Huh?
You don't know who you might fall for. You
That's
may
true.
be talking to a person. Yes, she may have 3 kids, but she may have a handle on her kids. Her kids may respect him
Mm-hmm.
as a father coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Dad may not be around, but that dad probably passed or whatever
Mm-hmm.
or remarried.
Right.
So you wouldn't have to deal with him head on. But I mean, it could be a good thing.
Maybe. But
So
see,
just because a woman have 3 kids don't mean it's going to be negative. A lot of negativity come along with it.
I'm just giving you the possibilities rather than having his own.
Well, that could be a possibility, but while he's dating this woman, he that should be stuff that he should look for.
Right. Right. And he make that choice. You see. But that's another thing. So now, excuse me. Going back on what we was talking about last week. Uh, um, I and me and my experiences through life, through dating and dealing with women, through dating and all that. Um, I'm 6'3", And what I found, especially in the black, community, that more times than not, black women are more attractive to taller men than they are shorter guys. That's why I was saying that last week about the 5'2" guy. He has to work harder.
And I wouldn't say do work harder. Yeah, he would have to get her attention. Yes, he do. Because the taller guy is going to have the attention. The other guy, I mean, I said last week, I've seen some very handsome shorter men.
Okay.
And 5'2", but they were like probably 5'4" and up. And I would date a guy who's 5'4". I mean, he doesn't have to do a lot, but he does have to catch my attention. Just like you said, the woman that's not your preference will have to catch your attention. So if it's something that's not your preference, it's going to have to catch your attention. In some type of way, they're going to have to get your attention. They're going to have to get you interested in them because they're not your preference.
Okay. So now, with the 6'3" guy, he's just walking up to you. Y'all haven't had a conversation. Y'all haven't spoke. Y'all haven't said one word to each other. So now he catches your attention quicker than the 5'2" guy, right?
Of course.
Because that's your preference.
That's my preference.
Okay.
That's what I look for in a mate. Yes.
So why is that? Why is that? I'm getting this. You're a woman. I'm getting this from your perspective, and this is what I couldn't ever understand. Why is that the tall guy gets the attention more than the short guy? Why is that?
Because, like you said, that's a lot of black women, so you say, preference. Yes. And I can only speak for myself.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking.
Okay, I like a taller man, and preferably thick with a little weight on him, because I feel like growing up, I used to be very tall for my age. Okay. Now I'm not so tall, I guess, so people say. But I feel like I'm tall. I like to wear heels. And to feel protected, you want someone who's bigger than you.
Okay, so now that's the word you just used. You want to feel protected.
Yes.
So now to me, that's sort of a mind thing.
It could be. It very well could be.
Because I feel like a 5'2" guy could protect you just as much as that 6'3" guy can.
And he probably could.
But it's just a mind thing that the 6'3" guy, because of his height, he probably be more intimidating or something. I don't know.
Not intimidating. If I'm with him, I'm an affectionate person. Okay. I want to be held. I want to be sunk into his arms. So 5'2", you be able to wrap your arms around me? Can I cuddle up with you? And I feel bigger than you. I don't feel feminine with you.
Wow.
Like I thought. So, and like you said, it could be a mind thing.
I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it could be, but that's how I feel. Okay. So, but like I said too, I'm not stuck on the 6'3" either, because if the 5'2" guy come in, he could be a better fit. The 6'3", he may be disrespectful or just not showing interest.
Right.
So I want someone to show interest in me as well. So if the 5'2" is showing interest in me and he's more respectful than the 6'3", then that's what I'm going to go for. So that's why I say you may have this all on your list, but sometimes you have to be willing to let some of that go off of your list.
Right. Okay. So
you.
Okay. So now what would be? I mean, you got a lot of girlfriends and all that, and you've talked. What would be realistic?
Realistic is not to even have a list at all. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet and who you're going to fall in love with, or who's going to catch your interest. It can be somebody totally different from your list. I remember I did have a list of what I wanted in a man, how he wanted to treat me, And as I got older, I realized the qualities I was looking for was me.
Okay.
I want to date me.
I want to date
So
you.
everything that I do for a man, that's what I wanted him to do for me, which is nothing wrong with that. But not all men are going to do what I do.
Right. Right.
So, and I have to realize that. Like,
If you don't mind, why don't you share some of those things when you was coming up, what you had in your mind about that perfect man that you had in your mind?
the first man I had in my mind, of course, he is 6 foot and over.
Mm-hmm. 6 foot and up. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Understanding, respectable,
Okay.
emotionally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else? What else?
Okay. So when did you at around what stage or age in your life that you realized that you was reaching for something that was probably out of arm's reach?
I'm probably in my 30s.
In your 30s?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I had a whole list, like, you know how they say it, you want somebody to treat you like you treat them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I was looking for.
Okay. 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 So as time went on, you start, getting into relationships and all that. You saw that all these boxes couldn't be checked.
No, it's impossible. No.
Okay. Okay. So what now?
So, I mean, I know how I want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say I'm settling if they don't check off everything on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I know how I want to feel while I'm with them.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I don't per se have a list, but I know how I want to be treated.
Okay.
I know my worth.
Okay. Gotcha. I got you.
And I won't settle to be treated respectfully, or I won't put up with, a man that I'm talking to and talking to women.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what I want.
So now, when you was going through this, I'm gonna call it a transformation. I'm gonna call it transformation. So now, did you think realize that, okay, if I can't expect for this man to check all these boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now did you come to the realization that maybe what can I do for me work on myself to make myself more attractive, approachable, attainable to that man that you say that couldn't check all those boxes?
Definitely, yes, that's the main thing. I'm always reevaluating myself.
Okay.
If I was told I did something wrong or rude, I would ask, like, was I wrong? Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me work on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely worked on myself. I worked on my mental health, my physical health. So yeah, I definitely work on myself so I can find that man, that my person.
Right. Okay. 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 That's a good thing. Let me give a shout out real quick to my big bro. What's up, big bro? Ken Williams. Give a shout out to him in Arizona. Everything good on my end, brother. Everything good. Hope everything good on your end over there. I see you watching. Okay. But yeah, Nicole, we looking at, the dating scene today, how a lot of women, like you say, they got this, I want to say fantasy. That's why, in my opinion, that's why I see a lot of single women. especially, up in age. I would say 43, 44 and up. You got a lot of single women. And they have this, and it's okay to have this picture in their mind of who they want, or who they want to mate with, or who they want for their mate. And I hear a lot of women say they looking for their Boaz and all that there, and all that's fine, and are you willing to be Naomi? Are you willing to be that, to that Boaz and all that? See, a lot of women, they want this guy, but what are you bringing?
I think a lot of women are I've seen a bunch of podcast videos where these men are telling these women, um, you got to do this, you got to do that. Mm-hmm. Women are always looking at what they can do better to get that man they're searching for. Right. Now, that man they're searching for, they may have a lot of lists that they got to check off.
Right.
But I think women are trying to better themselves for the man they're looking for. Just like this, I'm sure there's more women, and we've had only women call in. We haven't had any men. Men, where y'all at?
Exactly. I'm waiting on the guys call in. Come on, guys, gotta pump it up.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, go ahead.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of that. What women can do to get the guy that they want. Mm-hmm. I very rarely see the videos on how to tell men women they want.
Right.
So I think that women are trying to prepare themselves for that man.
Right. Well, see, when you say you don't see a lot of videos or podcasts or whatever about men saying what they're looking for, that's what you're saying?
Well, how to get the woman, how to treat the woman, because you always hear it was a big saying, be his peace. Mm. And it's a lot of videos telling women how to treat a man, how to get what the men are attracted to, what not attracted to. It's all advice on how women can please a man. But I very rarely see videos on people telling men how to please a woman, be that woman's peace.
Right. Well, I would say one reason you don't see a lot of that as you see on the other side is because there are more y'all than it is us.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And so with that being the case, men would have more options.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that you shouldn't, because of that, you go out there and just treat a woman any way you want to. If she don't work out, I go get another one. Not saying that. You see?
But don't you think that's what happened?
Well, in some cases. But in my opinion, let me put it like this. In my opinion, when you were in a tight, good relationship and things go south, things go bad to the point where you break up for whatever reason. And this is just my opinion, like I say. It's more easier or faster or however you want to put it for that woman to recover from that than it is that man. So now, when that man is out there now, he's more skeptical than to get into another relationship with a woman than that woman is with a man.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
I've seen that, and I've dealt with it. Yeah. But I'll go back to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Y'all women, y'all are more emotional. Y'all want that togetherness. the companionship, the closeness, and all that. This is what y'all crave. With a man, it's okay. I can go out here and do this, that with a woman. Y'all are more emotional. Y'all don't want to be like that. Y'all want to be more exclusive. With a man, once he's been through that with a woman, and then it didn't work out, like I say, he's more skeptical than to be so quick to jump into that again.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so wouldn't he need to work on himself?
Right. I mean, okay, let me put it like this. If a man, and I'm gonna say this, with a woman, yeah, a woman is looking the three things that a woman is looking for in a man, and we've covered this many times before, is a provider, a protector, and a good communicator. So now, if those things don't fit, most likely you're not going to deal with a man. With a man, it doesn't matter. You see? So now he's not looking for no woman to provide for him. He's not looking for no woman to protect him. He's not looking for a woman that's a good communicator. You can communicate or you can't. It doesn't matter. So once he's lost that trust in that, he's given his love to a woman, and that didn't work out. He's more skeptical. He's not so quick to get into that with another woman again. It's not so much of him having to work on himself, because he know that if he's those three things, he know he can do that. It's not hard for him to find a woman. You see, that's not hard. So he's skeptical. He's going to weigh all his options. He's more quick to do that now.
So after a man's been hurt or disappointed by a woman, he's not looking, I understand not looking to jump into a relationship, but at some point, is he going to want a relationship with the woman? Because that's what most women are looking for.
Right. At some point, he may or may not, but he's going to weigh his options. That's why you see a lot of guys out here who are serial daters, who probably got the side chick, who's doing all that type of stuff, because he's weighing his options. He's not so quick to get into that exclusive relationship because he's been through a hurt.
Okay, so I get that. I understand that. Taking your time and even just dating, that's totally fine if that's what you want to do, but be upfront about it.
Right.
Don't deceive someone and lead them to think that they're the only one you're talking to. And I even heard guys say, "Oh yeah, you're wifey, you can be wifey," and they're probably telling somebody else that.
That's true.
Or they were.
And they were. That's true. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that. You know, and like I say, it's gonna go back to this man. He's. Let me ask you this question right here. Let me ask this question as a woman. When two people get married, man and a woman, in your opinion, which one you think is giving up the most?
I don't know. I couldn't say, but I mean, they can both be giving up stuff. I don't know about the most. It depends on the situation.
Of course, both of them giving up some, but I said, which one you think is giving up the most?
It depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation. Okay, well, let's say both of them. I'm gonna look at the financial situation. Both of them got good jobs. Both of them got their own place. Both of them got vehicles. Both of them got all that. So now they get married. One got to give up something.
Well, that's a relationship. Period. You're
Okay.
gonna if you want to be with a person, you're gonna sacrifice. You're
Okay.
gonna give up.
But I'm talking about
Something.
I'm talking about marriage now. Talking about marriage. I'm not talking about just a
Okay.
relationship. Because you can be in a relationship, you got your place, I got mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a relationship. I'm talking about marriage. When you decide to be up under the same roof together.
Especially a marriage, you're
Okay.
gonna sacrifice.
Okay,
You're
so
gonna
now,
be good.
okay, so now, likely, who's gonna give up what? Likely,
You
in
tell
your
me.
opinion. You got two houses. Who you think gonna move in who? Likely.
I've seen it go both ways.
Well, likely that woman is gonna move with that man.
But
And
I've
I'm
seen
gonna tell you why. Want me to tell you why?
why.
Because he's a provider.
Okay, but he could. What if he have an apartment and she have a house?
Well, see, now you're putting in variables. You're putting variables in there now.
It happens.
I said they both got houses. Now you're putting
Okay,
in variables.
they both. Why wouldn't he move to her house?
He can, but I said likely.
Okay, but
Which one?
so she's gonna give up her house
She
or
will.
rent her house. She's giving up her space to move in.
Traditionally, isn't that what she's supposed to do?
Okay, so
Traditionally,
that's what she's giving up. Okay.
when a woman is staying with her parents and the man is on his own and they decide to get married, who leaves what?
But you said two houses.
Okay, so likely that woman comes with him, right?
Yes.
Traditionally, isn't that the way it's supposed to go?
No, but that's traditionally, but it doesn't always go like that.
It doesn't. But
So
traditionally,
okay, so the woman does move with the man. Okay.
Okay. So now that being said, he's giving up the most.
I would say she's giving up because she's giving up her whole house.
Okay, she's giving up her whole house, but she's also going with a provider. You see, she don't have a house note no more. You see, she ain't got to worry about that no more. She's going with somebody who's going to provide that for her now.
Hopefully.
There you go.
So, but you said they both have good jobs. They both have a house.
Yeah.
She's still working.
Huh?
She's still working.
Yes, but he's still the provider. That's still what it is. She's not going to go and marry someone who can't provide for her. No, that's not going to happen. So I'm not saying for her to quit her job or anything like. She still got a job, but likely she's going with him.
So what is he giving up?
His freedom.
Wouldn't she be giving up her freedom as well?
She would. She would. But like I say, let's look at the man and the woman. That woman, she's more exclusive. She's bound by emotions. That's what she's bound by. Emotions. You see? So now when that woman go and do her bachelorette party with all her girls or whatever, and they got, I'm gonna say traditionally, they got the male strippers there and all that. She's not most likely, she's not gonna do nothing that gonna mess her marriage up. But now let's look on the other side. Him. Most likely he's gonna do whatever. Likely. I ain't saying that it happens. I ain't saying it don't happen. But likely that's what happened. He got strippers there and they want to do this, that, and the other. He with it. So now he's bound, she's bound by emotions. He's governed off his sight. That's it. So now he's giving up. I gotta get rid of all my phone numbers. most likely she done been done all that. So I got to get all these women numbers out my phone. You know, I got to tell all these, my girlfriend, all that there that I'm getting married. I got all that. See, it's a different thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's a different thing.
That's enough to make you just want to stay single.
Well, I mean, it's what it is.
Don't let your fiancés have bachelor parties.
But I'm just giving you something that's likely. That's what it is. I'm not saying it happens. I'm not saying it don't happen. But I'm just saying that who's giving up the most. You see.
But she may have boyfriends too.
She may do. She may do. I'm not saying, but she once she see that she's exclusive and this is my man and this is what I'm going with, she will drop all of that with no hesitation.
So he would have to be accordingly. So he wouldn't have time for other girlfriends.
Right, quicker than that man would. She would do it quicker than he would.
She might, but if she want to make sure.
But once she's sure, once she's convinced and all that, she will give it up quicker than he would. So now he's giving up the most, and plus, if she come and stay with him, now he got to make room for all this. Yeah.
So, no, I'm not convinced that he's giving up the most. No.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, it's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Women can give up just as much as men can give up.
Not saying she can't. Not saying she can't. I'm like I say, it's just my opinion on that. You know. But going back to the realistic and or fairy tale, looking at how the things that the women want, like I say, we're gonna get off into a lot of these dating sites, and we're gonna see how women, these are the things that they are looking for in a mate. You gotta have this, you gotta have that, you got to be this, you got to be that, and I read a lot of this and I see a lot of this, and I'm saying to myself, if this is what you want in a man, if it was easy, you wouldn't be on that site. I understand this is what you prefer. I understand that. But you're talking about something that 5 million more women want too.
Yeah, that may be because dating, you go through things with men not so good with them. They're probably either lacking a job or the women have to take responsibility over him and her, or it's just different things. So I think that's why women come up with this list. They don't want to go through that anymore. Just like that men don't want to go through what he had been through anymore. Women don't either. So yeah, they do have a list of what they want because they don't want to go backwards.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Like I say, you're just putting out something that, outline of what you are looking for or hope to find. And I got that. It means with me it's the same way. This is what he hoped to find. A non-combative woman, a peaceful woman. A woman that knows and understands her role as a woman to her man. A man wants these qualities in a woman also.
Okay, so if I seen that on a man's profile, I would be wondering. It's two sides to every story. He may want a non-combative woman, a peaceful woman, but a woman's not going to be combative by herself.
Right.
Just not.
With nothing going on. I don't know now, because you got a lot of women or a lot of people that just got a bad disposition about themselves.
They probably do.
Wake up because the sun's shining, mad because the sun's shining.
I mean, that's something they got to deal with. But And that's something a man should have seen as a red flag as well.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, like I said, it's two sides to every story.
Right.
I've seen this a lot. A man, I don't want a woman that to argue all the time or cussing me out all the time. Okay, well, why would she do it? What are you doing to make her do that?
But what if you just got a person that just has that type of personality?
And there are people that have that personality.
Mm-hmm.
There are. But at the same time, you got to check yourself too.
Right.
For both parties, you got to check yourself.
Right. 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 And so now, when you, before you decide to get into the dating world, I would say make sure you got yourself together mentally, physically, spiritually, or whatever, because what you are looking for or what you want or what you desire, you might find that quality. But what about that other quality? This person might be heavy drinker, like to smoke, but he got those other qualities though. See?
Yeah, and I could also say that the person that don't check everything on your list, they can bring some good qualities that you didn't even know about.
Right.
Bring something that you didn't even know you needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you do you have to be open minded.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that goes for the men too.
Right. Exactly. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It goes both ways. Like I said this on one show. We often put high expectations on the other person, and in my opinion, when you put these high expectations, you setting yourself up for disappointment. Because can't no one meet every expectation that you have. If you're not, go ahead.
I agree. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. No one can meet every expectation, but when you going in meeting someone and want to see if that's a person for you, you do have some expectations.
Right.
But like you said, they shouldn't be high, but you are going to have expectations. I feel like you should get your expectations out the way when you first start meeting, chat, talking, whatever. Mm-hmm. So you know what's expected.
Right.
Like, are you a man that are you just dating around, or this woman she's looking for a relationship? Mm-hmm. Be upfront about what you expect from this person you're talking to.
Right. So let me ask you this: if a woman, like I say, I read a lot of profiles on a lot of dating sites, and we're gonna get into this, later on in future shows. Tell me what you think about this. I read when a woman says, "Be passport ready." I mean, to me, if you don't have a passport, you don't meet that qualification. To me that's a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm. So I've seen that on men's profiles too. Okay. Be passport. Okay. I like to travel, so be ready to travel. It just slipped my mind. What if a woman has kids or responsibility?
Right.
They can't just up and be spontaneous. That's what I'm trying. Right. I'm spontaneous. I'm spontaneous. Not everybody's like that. Not everybody's spontaneous. So is that a deal breaker? You don't want to talk to this person because they're not spontaneous?
Right.
Responsibilities that they just can't just jump up and leave.
That's right. So now, and that's what I get out of when I read this, and a woman say, "Please be passport ready" and all that. So you telling me I can be a drunk, I can be a drug addict, I can be an abuser, I can be dysfunctional. I can be crazy, but I got a passport, so I'm good to go.
I doubt that's what they mean. I
I
doubt
mean, help me
that.
to understand this now.
They want to travel with the
I
person they're
got that.
talking. Yeah, but I doubt they settle for that other stuff. No,
Mm.
that goes without saying.
Well, if I was an alcoholic, I wouldn't. We just meeting. I wouldn't show you that. If I was a drug user and we're just meeting and we get to the point that we could travel together, I wouldn't show you that. Why would I show
Mhm.
you that? But now, once we gone, we abroad somewhere, and we somewhere. This comes up. See,
But you
but
might not want
because
to
I got this
know.
passport, I'm good to go.
No, so you may not want to travel with someone you just met. No, that's
So you got
it's out.
the passport is just a requirement.
For them, I guess. I think women like to do stuff with their mate or
I
whoever
got
they're
that.
dating. They want to travel, so
And that's
that's what they do.
understandable. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to be able to do these things with that person.
Yeah.
Now, actually putting it on your profile, I don't think you should do that.
Okay.
That's in conversation. Hey, you have your passport. Would you like to do this?
Mm-hmm.
That could come up later.
Right.
I don't think it should be on the profile. No.
Okay. No, I got you. Well, like I say, I read this and I see this on a lot of women profiles, and I ask myself, if a man doesn't have a passport, is that like a disqualifying thing, something like that? Most likely, if this man got a passport, he already got somebody to travel with. I would think,
I'm sure.
you know. So I mean, that's why I'm not getting it. Not saying that a lot of guys travel alone or nothing like that, but I'm just saying in a likely situation, if this man got a passport, he's got somebody he's traveling with.
Hmm.
You know,
So, I mean, that's just like these men have on their profiles. They're spontaneous. They want someone else to spontaneous. Like,
yeah,
is that really a deal breaker? Does that disqualify somebody who has responsibilities that they just can't jump up and leave?
right,
And that's you're talking about a responsible person, but you want them to be spontaneous.
right, right. I got you. I got you. I mean, that's the dating world, man. We all got this picture in our mind of who we would like. Uh, is it realistic or is it a fairy tale? Uh, Nicole said it might be a fairy tale. I don't know. What you say, Nicole? A lot of these things is a fairy tales.
It could be. You have this person made up in your head. We put a whole person together. You can't put a person together on paper.
Right.
It's not gonna work. You put your ideal person who you made fantasize and for you to make you happy, but in reality, will this person really make you happy?
Mm-hmm.
So they may have other qualities that bad qualities that go with those qualities.
Right.
So would you really be happy with this person you have made up in your head?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. So yeah. So I guess that's what it is. We all have that. If you're in the single world, you're in the dating game. We all have that person that we want. Especially if you've been through relationships, marriage, or whatever. You don't want to go through the same BS with another person. You know, find yourself saying, "Damn, here I go again." You know, that's something that you don't want to do.
So
Mhm.
with saying that, So I think there's a lot with dating as well. Like both men, like I said, both men and women have been through things, and they probably be like they find someone, they're probably happy with them for a while, but then they may show just a little quality of the other person's last relationship. Like, damn, here we go again. But is that really the case? If people are ready to give up on the relationship because they're thinking it's gonna go that way, yeah, it may be a red flag. But do you think they could ignore that or?
Well, I would say it depends on that person. If that person is dedicated to put in the work that's required to make that relationship work, yeah, they're not so quick to they see all these, qualities that they saw in the previous relationship. They can overlook certain things.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are not. They're not dedicated to make it work.
That's true.
They're quick, especially men. They're quick to go off because they have more options.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to say. That's because men have more options.
But guess what? A lot of men too. They're quick to drop that person, go off to something else, but they're always coming back.
Well, they see that. I guess they see the green ain't as grass. That the grass not as green on the other side as they thought.
No, and it's not.
So now that would be going into another thing. Or would the woman be as quick to take them back?
Some women do, and that's why they go back because we let them come back.
Okay. So now, if you stop letting them come back, then they won't have nothing to come back to now, right?
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Okay. You see,
totally agree with that.
You see that's where the emotional part comes in with a lot of women. Don't want to be alone. They need that companionship. Don't like to sleep alone and all that type of stuff. That's where that comes in at. Unless they just fed up. See, they reach their last end of the rope. Let him go on his way. I'll be all right. Once they get to that point, it ain't no coming back. That's it.
No, it's not. Because when a woman's fed up,
that's it. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. But as long as women allow certain things, men gonna do it. That's just what that is. We can't do nothing unless you allow us. That's what it is.
The thing is, don't do it.
There you go. Okay. I understand that too. It stems from that. But, if you don't want us back, don't let us come back.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's what that is, and that's the way it's going to be, until times run out, I guess, But, that's just the thing about relationships. Men and women involved, are involved with each other, whether it's marriage, going together, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. Once you with a person, you got an emotional attachment to that person. Especially once you done put a lot of time and effort into it, it's not easy to just let it go like that.
No, it's not.
But if push comes to shove, you got to let it go. You just got to let it go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, Nicole, that was another good show, as always. And like I say, we're going to get into this dating apps and all that, and future shows. Talk about the things that people put on their profile, whether it's true, whether it's false, but that's what they got. That's how they present themselves. This is your first impression, of that person. So how that goes and all that, and that's going to be in future shows that we're going to do, inculcate in the show. the Dating Shame. And like I say, Nicole, we had a good show. And like always, family, Nicole is on the phone. She's not here with me. She's on the phone. And this is how we do the show. The phone number, like I say, if you want to call in and join in, the phone number is 870-397-1219. We live on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday at 6:30. And we have topics about the dating world, the dating scene. This is what we talk about, Nicole and I. And like I say, Nicole, we do this with the host that people will call in, chime in, and give their opinion on what the subject is. And so we're gonna end the show with that. Again, I want to appreciate everybody for watching on Facebook Live, and YouTube. Let me say, Big Guys, Fine Food and Catering, back up and running. Be in a neighborhood near you. Come and get this food. I be up Saturdays. I'm out on the weekends with my food trailer. So y'all come get some good food. So I want to put that out there. So Nicole, had a good week. Still with me, Nicole?
I'm still, you're going in and out. I'm here.
Here I am. Like I said, we're going to end the show with that, Nicole. I hope you had a good week. And we'll do it again next week with another topic.
I will. You have a good week as well.
All right, then. We'll catch you next week.
All right, later.
All right, family. That's the nice show.
There's
like all the
far
time,
too many of you die.
we start the show with my brother Marvin Gaye.
You know we've got to find.
We end the show with Marvin Gaye.
To bring some love.
What's going on? So yeah, we'll catch you next week, family. That's a nice show. We'll catch you next week on the Dating Shame, Sundays at 6:30. All right, we'll catch you next week. Y'all have a safe week.
For only love can you know we got to find a way.